What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we are covering Kazuhisa Kondoh's revival of Zeon. The year is UC 0092. After the death of Haman Khan, Zeon was thrown into chaos. Any Neo-Zeon forces that were on Earth after the end of the first Neo-Zeon War were essentially cut off and left to fend for themselves. Neo-Zeon remnants finally decide to evacuate Earth. This is the story of that battle, so let's get into this. According to the recon data, EFF believes a Neo-Zeon supply base is in the Scandinavian peninsula. A fleet of ships are heading to low Earth orbit led by the G-class ship Glorious. There really isn't too much data on the G-class ship, but there is a lot we can assume. This was an assault carrier created in UC-90 to help take down Neo-Zeon remnants. This is after the Argama and Nahil Argama, and it looks like a return to a Pegasus-style design. It has 2 hangars, and we can assume a Minosky craft system. It also has the designation CVS, which is different from White Base's SCV designation and the Nahil Argama's SCVA. So who knows where this stands? A commander gives a briefing informing the team of the mission. It is a bombardment mission using their special forces. After the bombing raid, the G-classes will move in and mop up the remaining forces. A Dawaj and a Marside G lay stagnant in the snow. I really dig this design choice, but many of the Zeon mobile suits in this manga have long skirts, making this unit resemble wearing a long coat. This is a nice touch, but it also makes it hard to recognize familiar units. The MS-108 Marside G is a ground combat version of the Marside for Neo-Zeon's invasion of Earth. This will be a pilot favorite until the creation of the Gyaradoga heavy-armed land type. It has the same weapons loadout, but it has tiny hands, so how it holds these weapons is a mystery. Back in space, the first wave launches in the 2 Zeta Wave Rider form. The AFM SZ-0072 Zeta is a mass production variant of Zeta designed for space and atmospheric flight. To cut costs, armor has been removed, but it does make it lighter. These are deployed from G-class ships to run operations in the Scandinavian peninsula. They dive into Earth's atmosphere and rush towards the Zeon base. One Zeta pilot named Stark goes down. Once they rush past the turrets, they transform into mobile suit form. 2 Zetas in Wave Rider form drop bombs on what totally looks like a shield generator from The Empire Strikes Back. As it goes up in flames, the G-class ship moves in. After taking out the base in Scandinavia, the G-class ships split up. The G-class Nisa now docks at Belfast base. They prepare for a resupply. Tactical Airborne Squads 26 and 28 prepare for a briefing. There are some Double Zs and Ragazis that are being repaired. Commander Bright is looking for an unnamed officer. The Garuda-class ship, the Brabazon, takes off from the same base. At another location, Neo-Zeon remnants have received 2 Goblin Tropins and a new O. The MS-109D Goblin Desert Type, or Goblin Tropin, was designed specifically for the African front, but is a general desert use variant. The PMX-003, the O2, also known as the Howler or the Neo Geo, is a variant of the O. This was originally thought of as a mobile fortress. Jovian engineers left and later helped Neo-Zeon, where they created this unit for land-based siege attacks. Even though it is bulky, it is very mobile on land. Weapons include 120mm machine guns, a beam cannon, a machine cannon, and a missile launcher. The unit also has a sub-arm. One man says that he is lucky to have Lieutenant Brown or Lieutenant Braun with him in his squad. This is Ensign Brick. He is informed that they are holding a front against the Fetties by diverting their attention, but this won't last forever. One squad leader died and another took his place, and is gaining in the ranks. People are saying that it is the rebirth of the Red Comet. The commander believes this rumor as well. Later, EFF engages with this Neo-Zeon squad. They detect 8 gems, 12 Mark IIs, and 10 other unidentifiable mobile suits. Even the gem skirts are chonky. This is the RGM-79E Gem 2, but beside the skirt, this doesn't appear to be different from the regular Gem 2. The RX-178B Gundam Mark IIB is a mass production mobile suit based off of the Mark II. This is an improved land combat variant. Its vernier thrusters have been removed. This unit is equipped with a beam saber, a beam machine gun, and a shield. They take out some Marsais and Goblins. Dropping down with the second wave is a Double Zeta. The SSMS-010 Double Zeta Gundam is a heavy mobile suit designed to penetrate bases. It still retains a high mega cannon on the head like the original Double Zeta. The mobile armor form is called the G-Fortress Heavy Bomber and is designed for bombing runs. This thing is so bulky that it could barely support its own weight. This unit is also very expensive to produce. The Zetas begin their bombing raid while the Mark IIs and Double Zetas take care of business on the ground. The O pushes back to the rear. One of the G-class ships go down, and Supply Point 5 asks for assistance. Gaus are in the air, arriving to the battlefield. In the hangar is Ensign Meyer, aka the Witch of Sirius, who leads a team of Sturmjägers. The ORX-005EX Sturmjäger is an aerial assault mobile suit, equipped with external boosters. It has 2 shoulder-mounted gun pods. However, in Revival of Zeon, it is equipped with mega cannon gun pods. This thing struggles to move around in certain terrestrial environments. This is also the closest thing to the Mobius from CE in the UC universe. They launch from Gaus. Lieutenant Braun has lost many of his 511th Brigade rear forces. Desperate, he decides to attack the weakest point in the Federation's front and try to break through. One Federation soldier is trying to enjoy a cigarette when the O comes in and destroys a gym. Aerial forces surround the O and his men. It is too much for them. That is when Sturmjägers come in and provide support while they break through the front. Meyer moves to help out Gaia, which is this land ship that kinda looks like a Satellon class if it had treads. Double Zeta gets a critical hit on Gaia. When the O pops out of the rubble, the Gao lands to help save the crew of the Gaia. A team of Marseille S's move in to help the crew. The MS-108 Marseille S is essentially a Marseille stripped of all its armor, drastically reducing the weight and increasing mobility. The only armor that remains and has been enhanced is the shoulder armor. The Gao takes off while the O continues holding off Double Zeta on the ground. Double Zeta uses its high mega cannon and obliterates the O. The pilot gets out of the damaged mobile suit and is surrounded by Fetties. A Gromlin pilot bombards the Fetty mobile suits long enough to grab Meyer and fly out of there, right before the events of Char's counterattack. Neo Zeon is adding additional pulse engines to 5th Luna and trying to lay low from the Federation. One officer is relaying this to Char, although made before Moon Gundam. This seems to be taking place after the events of that manga, and also disregarding most of that manga, because it never existed. His men inform him of the remnants fighting against the Fetties. He wants to evacuate his men before 5th Luna, and possibly use them as a diversion. Yeah, this definitely conflicts with Moon Gundam. A Neo Core fighter is scouting for Neo Zeon soldiers. They pass by a forest where the remnants happen to be hiding. Lieutenant Kurtz gets out of his Sazabi Heavy Equipment Ground Type. The MSN-04B Sazabi Heavy Equipment Ground Type, or AMS-04B Sazabi, is a variant of the Sazabi intended to be a mass production model developed for new types. Funnels were also removed. Ground mobility has been improved along with enhanced firepower. It was eventually designed for commanders and had its psychoframe cockpit removed. He meets with his commander who is prepping for an attack on the city called Verbatan. He tells Kurtz to prepare his men. One of the G-class ships gets a new Gundam pre-test type, the PX-00531 new Gundam pre-test type, aka the RX-92B prototype new Gundam, is the testbed mobile suit for new Gundam. This unit doesn't have a Psychomu system and was designed to eventually have one installed, but this will never come to be. This thing will suffer from inadequate heating issues. A mechanic mentions that this is New Gundam's predecessor. They're going to run system trials on the unit before they add a Psychomu to this unit. Fetty mobile suits from the 9th Mobile Suit Division stumble onto Kurtz and his team in the forest. They begin taking out the Fetties. Meanwhile, Kurtz pushes the engineering team to spread misinformation on the radios, making EFF helpless. A shuttle launches from the G-class ship. They hear some chaos on the comms, but it is hard to make out due to Minovsky particles. One of the passengers says he is taking out the Gundam, as Sazabi and Kurtz's team gains footing in Verbatan. They are suddenly attacked. It is New Gundam. The unit begins terrorizing the remnants until the unit overheats. Kurtz takes this opportunity and destroys New Gundam. He and his men suffered heavy losses, but they were able to push into Verbatan. This caused DFF to move their front lines back 50 kilometers. Lieutenant Kurtz was given the Zeon Cross. The destruction of the prototype set the development of New Gundam back. This marks the end to terrestrial battles for the remnants as they head back into space. The takeover of Verbatan allowed the Zeon remnants to launch into space. The G-class ship moves into action while the 511 Autonomous Mobile Suit Brigade, led by Frederick Braun, ensures the launches are successful. He is piloting the Breda. The PMX-005 Breda is a land-based variant of the O2, which was already a land-based variant in itself. 10 models have been known to be produced. Weapons include 50mm Vulcans, a beam rifle, and a Vulcan shot machine gun. I have also seen this translated to bread, and I just love that a mobile suit is called bread. Double Zeta launches from the G-class in mobile armor form. We get a moment where Braun tells his men to head back to escape pods while he makes the sacrifice of staying behind to save his men. Oh, I love this cliche. Zetas begin bombing from the sky. while double Zetas handle the terrestrial attacks. But some double Zetas go down. It is Gauge Ray. The MAN 010 G3, or Gauge Ray, is a new type mobile armor. It is equipped with a Psychomu system, and is essentially a miniaturized Elmeth. A G2, or Gauge Y, was made before this, but was cancelled in the planning stages. It has various beam cannons along with funnels. Bomber variants of this were also created for bombing runs. Piloting the unit is Meyer and Kurtz. They will help stall as much as possible. They do as much as they can, but their units take heavy damage. That is when a Zanzibar class assists them. They land and tell the damaged Zeon pilots to get the hell out of here. The Zanzibar takes off. As they make their escape, they are able to take down a G-class ship. The Neo-Zeon forces' escape from Earth is successful. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam, the revival of Zeon. This is a great example of style over substance. Ultimately, it was a simple story of three people, Braun, Meyer, and Kurtz, coming together to save their people. This manga was released 2 years after Top Gun, and this comic takes a lot of design choices from 80s aviation tech, similar to Stardust Memory. Does it make sense that the cockpit looks like an F-15? No. Does it look awesome? Hell yeah. There is a sequel series entitled New Revival of Zeon that we will eventually cover in the future. But that will do it for now, new types. Let me know, are you a short skirt fan or a long skirt fan? Peace.